Okay, so I think that should be recording everything that should be hunky-dory. So, hey, Brett, good to have you join us. I haven't got any of the first years really joining us. That's a little weird, hey?
I'm not first year.
Masters. First year masters.
Technically.
Yeah, let's go. We got first years.
But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. It's not right or wrong, it just is, right? So, here we go. Going to do that, and then we're going to go here, and we're going to share screen. That, no, we're going to share. This top one. Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm going to share. Okay, that's right. There. That's small, just yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm just chatting to myself. Going to have to edit that out, obviously. Hey, welcome along to Digital Ministry Club. Today, we're going to be actually focusing on short reels, what we need to do to make short reels. And short reels are really important because what we'll discover as we look at this is that the first 3 seconds of any video really matter. And today, we're actually going to be looking at Brett, one of Brett's videos that he's created. Yeah. And that's actually gone viral in the last several days. So congratulations, Brett. That's super excited. But we're also going to be looking at work that you may have created as well. And we want to just be able to see what that's like. So welcome along. Hopefully we can actually have a really good experience today as we share and learn from each other as we go. So there's a couple of different views. We're actually in a different room here today. And in the room that we've got access to a couple of different camera angles, so you can see who's in the room. You can also see who's online, and you can also see my computer screen here and what I might be typing on the keyboard, right? So there we go. That's if you've got the gallery view available. So let's begin today. And as we begin, I wanted to start with a few different quotes. And to start today, I'm actually using one from 1 Corinthians 9:19 to 22, where the Apostle Paul's talking about mission and purpose of mission. And here's one here from faithlead.org. To the digital natives, I became a digital native, so as to win digital natives, right? So it's an interesting kind of Bible verse. It's from Katie Langston. And as she's writing around this is what she also says. She says, the idea that digital communities aren't real communities. It ignores the profound emotional and relational bonds that are formed when people connect in authentic communities. And what's really interesting with that is this idea, right? That we can, there we go. I'm actually starting to learn how to control that. Oops. Oh, that's you. Thanks, Josh. Turn your audio off. Yeah. So, you know, what we can do as we look at this, we can begin to really look in shaping. Let me just back up. If we think about digital communities, just think of all the people in the world who have actually connected with each other, and not just connected with each other, but actually formed relationships and got married. So, you know, is there a digital community? Is it real? Well, they're building real relationships with each other. And in that same way that a real relationship can be built so that a couple can marry, we can introduce people to Jesus in a real way online. It's the same kind of thing. So these digital communities are real communities. People have real connection with each other. They're solving real problems. They're connecting in real, authentic ways, perhaps even arguably in a way which is more real because the authentic connection actually allows them to feel safer because there's not someone right there with them scaring them. So they might be more willing to be vulnerable and go to deeper places. So yeah, these are real things. Just because the gospel is always relevant doesn't mean that you are, right? So we need to think about how can we make what we do relevant to connect with the world. Okay, that's carrying you off. That's what he said. Now, you don't make disciples by using technology to invite people to your event. This is not a way to market what we do, to say, oh, look, I'm running a cool church service this weekend, you should come. No, what we want to do is actually we want to create an online community And then we will invite people to our events, but if they never come, we've still got the online community. We want to have the online community as a place where we can make disciples, we can Bible study with people, lead them to Christ, do all of those things. And if they want to, they can join a local expression of that somewhere. Does that make sense? So again, today we're using our QR codes, and I've actually, I think, got this sorted a little better of how it will actually work. So if you want to join in, by all means, just use the QR code, join in, because I've got a question coming up. So wherever you are, if you could just do that and give me a thumbs up if you've been able to do that online, that would be great.
It's the same question as previous one.
Yes, it is. So here's the question, and here's the responses that we had last time. And it's this: what things would you like the club to focus on? If you've got any more things you'd like to add, or if there's anyone else who's joining in, that by all means go ahead and join in. And what I wanted to do was just be able to show you as well some of the things that are there: sharing God's saving grace, blogging, and so on. You know, how to create short form hook, what is a hook, and so on. So that's what we're looking at today. This is going to help shape the content as we move forward. So if you've got any content ideas that we should cover in our club, this is where we want to look at it. Keep a fairly private profile. Okay. Yeah, look, we can kind of do that. You will need to have social media accounts somewhere, and your posting on there will be about you, right? Or about your content that you're creating. You can create a YouTube channel and post to YouTube, and that can be distanced from other profiles, but it still needs to be under a name of some sort, okay? So there's things there, but we will look at creating those channels as we go through a little bit more. So, you know, look at how we can get church growth, video editing, and so on. So there's a whole lot of things that we can actually look at there that will actually help us develop some real practical skills as we sort of go through. Yeah, so that's, yeah, okay, so that's what we're looking at. Okay, so let's move on. So I want to check with homework. Carla, I know that you were actually playing with some AI. How did that actually go for you?
Yeah, very. I like it. It was easy. I had a go also at creating my short video. I liked it was my first time ever, and I like it. I like it very much. It's very easy to use. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Now, did you use Big VU as your recording platform, or did you just record on your phone without using any other technology?
I used Big VU as my recording platform.
And how was that experience for you?
Easy to follow. It guided me. It had prompts, and it was done very quickly. So it was a good experience. Yeah, I see how the convenience of using AI and all the different apps available to us. It's very good.
Okay, now question for you in using Big VU. For those who are just joining us, we're talking about an assignment which was to use AI to create a script that you would be happy with, and then to edit that script, and then to drop that into a program called Big VU, which you can download for free from the App Store. And then what you can do with that is you can then use your smartphone in portrait mode to actually record yourself as the teleprompt goes by. And Carla, you found that experience really easy. Is your video posted somewhere for us to have a look at?
You know, I tried doing that. I had a little bit of problems posting it. I don't know if it's up yet. It looked as if it was up, but I can try and have a look and see. Do you want me to have a quick check?
So if you can find that and post a link to that on our chat, or email me and I'll share it with the club, that would be super helpful.
I will do that. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much. What I want to do is I'm just going to change gears here a little bit. Where is it? That's where I need to go. And I want to show you some attempts that I've had. Let me just go down here a little bit there we go. So this is me. So what we're doing here in our club, I want you to know that this is my learning think tank as we go as well. And so I'll just make that a little bigger so you can actually see that. And I will close that down there so it's all a bit more visible for you. So here we go. I said, can you create for me? So I've got a workshop coming up. I haven't actually recorded this yet, but can you create a 1 minute short video script? I didn't even spell video right. With Hook for this workshop that I can record a short video for YouTube to advertise to the parents. So literally tomorrow night, I'm going to Sydney to Warunga Adventist School, and I'll be running a workshop on relationships with the parents of the school kids. And so here's the script that it came back with. The title of the workshop is Marital Magic, Building Resilient Relationships for Life. So how can we do that with couples? How can we do that as families? That's what the workshop is on. And here's what the script that it actually generated. And it generated this in a matter of, well, just seconds, right? And I won't take time to read through it all, but there's the 1 minute script. So it's not very long. Now, what do you do with that 1 minute script? Well, I don't accept that as being the voice of Neil because I don't speak like that. So maybe I might want to wrestle with AI a little bit more about that script, or I might just want to take that script as it is and drop it into Word, and then in Word, I'm going to edit that script. Now, this Marital Magic is part of a whole long conversation. So, if I go back through the history of this, you can see that there's been this long conversation with AI around me planning what kind of thing that I might want to do with the couples in this workshop. So you can see here, for instance, I asked it for some suggestions. I said, okay, I want to do this in a workshop. And so it's come back and said, okay, here's some suggested titles. And you can see I went with that first title. And then, but I wasn't happy with that. I said, can you give me 10 more? So it suggested another 10. I looked at all of those and I went, I'm going to go with this. It's going to be a 60-minute presentation and there's going to be Q&A time. Can you suggest what content might look like if it takes into account John Gottman's 7 principles? And it shot back that. Now, it's not giving me what's in there. It's giving me the framework of what I might want to include. And I kind of rejected that. I said, yeah, but I want to include emotional agility, Susan David, her stuff. I want to also include Sue Johnson's stuff because I think they're all related. And so I said, I want all of that and I want a framework for it. And so it shot back this updated framework. And I looked at that and went, I think I might run with something like that. So that's now a framework for a 60-minute presentation. That took me probably about 10 minutes to do. And creating the presentation to go with that has probably taken me about 2.5 hours in my own time at home. So there we go. There's the workflow for me thinking through what is it I'm going to share, what research do I want to base that on, and then stepping through. And then is when I actually came down here further and said, well, now I want to create a video to go with that. See how that actually can help create promotional stuff. And it's creating it around what directions I've given the AI as we've gone through, which then goes to the assignment, which was to create some short little things. So let's go back to here. You've got the script, okay? Big VU or other teleprompt software that you can load on your smartphone, okay? So you might want to write down Big VU. It's all one word. Find that in the App Store or others like it, and you're looking for a teleprompter piece of software that you can then cut and paste your script straight into there. You can hit record while it starts scrolling the video for you to see, right? That's really what's going to be happening. Now, on top of that, there's a couple of things. Okay, so if you're starting a YouTube channel and you're starting to create content, the big question is, how do I know what people are going to be interested in? How should I create and target myself, that kind of thing? So Answer the Public and Center for Online Evangelism. Center for Online Evangelism is an Adventist place, and they do a whole lot of research for things. Really quite useful. Answer the Public actually has this side. So let me show you this. This is something really interesting. So I put in these two keywords, Bible study, and I restricted the search of their algorithm to focus only in on Australia. And it's given me now that these are the kinds of things that might pop up if someone searches in Australia, the keywords, or somewhere in that, the words Bible study. So it would look at things like, well, why? Why would someone want to study Bible? And you can see there, well, why Bible study is important, why Bible study is necessary for spiritual growth, why study the Bible, what can you do? Can you do Bible study alone? So out of that, this is what you might do. If you're running a series on your channel about Bible or the Bible study, you might go, people are interested in searching for, can you do Bible study alone? Right? So I might come back out here to ChatGTP, right? So I will start a new chat now, and I will say to ChatGTP, let me just hide that. Oh, I'll put that up there. There we go. I might say, I want to create a script for doing Bible studies alone. I want to create a script for a short video, short reel video. And the title is, Can I Do Bible Studies Alone? Okay, we'll see what it does. I think it's got enough to know. Certainly, here's a script for that. Okay, so it's coming up with a script. Now, am I going to use this script that it generates?
No,
Not at all.
manufactured.
So why am I getting it to do this?
Gives you a breakdown of what could the script be on.
Right. So it's helping me actually think through what would be there. And I might actually ask, because it looks like it's actually going way, oh no, that's still not too bad. I might now say, I want a better hook to use with this script. Okay. And it's actually going to be doing that already. Yeah. And it's coming back with a hook. Actually generating that pretty slow, but I might actually say, can you suggest 5 different kinds of hooks that I might use for a script on doing Bible studies alone? Now, I may or may not use these scripts, but again, it's going to help me brainstorm answers. To think around, okay, these are the kinds of things that maybe people are thinking about. And so what's it coming back with? The question hook. Have you ever felt the need to connect with something greater but didn't know how? Have you ever felt the need to connect? They say understanding the Bible requires expert theologians or group studies. But what if I told you you can embark on this spiritual journey all by yourself? I like that, right? Or something along those lines. So you see here, what we're starting to create are hooks that we could actually build in or write our own using these as a Bible, as a launching pad for our own script. The script needs to be tight, needs to only be 60-second script if it's going to go onto TikTok or something like that, a little longer if it's going to be potentially on YouTube only. But there we go. And the idea is we start creating these as ways in which we can springboard ideas. So, and I got that from this. Questions that people might have based on research that these guys here, Answer the Public, have around what are the questions people ask. Now, there's another way you can actually go find this sort of stuff out, and it's really, really quite simple to find out what people are interested in. And that is, if I go here, let me just pop that there, and I start a new thing here on Google. And so in Google, I can say, if I type in Bible study, right, these are the things that pop up next. Bible study fellowship, Bible study tools, Bible group, Bible study groups near me, Bible study guide. These are the kinds of things that people are also interested in according to the results of Google. And you might want to use some of that to help inform you. But if I put that in a question, can I study the Bible effectively by myself? Okay, you can see that, or how can I study the Bible by myself, is a question that pops up. So now suddenly you can see the kinds of questions that Google is anticipating that people might regularly ask. That's powerful, powerful insight. Okay, so let's go back. And that's the whole chart that it produced based on a whole range of different insights. And it's suggesting that Bible study as a pair of keywords is a low search item. So, there's not many people searching for that in any one month, but people are searching for that in Australia, right? It's just not a lot. Now, let me go here. Facebook numbers. There's a range of numbers that we're about to look at for Brett's video that's been posted. There's what's called post impressions, post reach, and post engagement. Post impressions is the number of times it's just appeared in someone's feed as they've scrolled through Facebook. So that doesn't mean they've actually watched it or really taken notice of it, but they've scrolled past it. It's been there in their feed, which means these might be friends of someone who's seen it and it's appearing in their feed, or it might be friends of friends and they're seeing it appear in their feed. Post reach are people who have actually uniquely seen it. So post impression means they might have seen it more than once in their feed. Post reach means that the number of actual individuals who have seen it, not the number of times they might have seen it. And post engagement refers to the number of people actually have seen it and engaged with it. So they might have stayed with it for a while and liked it or done something with it and so on. So that's the difference between those numbers. Now let's have a look, Brett. This is your post. We're about to have a look at your post in a minute. So I'll be pretty excited about that. But here's what's happened. Post impressions. It's appeared in 388,000 people's feeds since it went live. And it only went live on the 11th of August. Actually, no, not the 11th of August. That was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, 11th of August it went live. So we're 4 or 5 days later. It's actually a lot more than that today. Post reach, 386,000. That's the individuals that it's reached. And 66K actual engagement, of which, now here's the breakdown. 59,000 of those have only watched the first 3 seconds of the video. Sorry, Brett, didn't want to burst your bubble there as we go through. But it's really interesting for us to look at, right? 1 minute, nearly 1,000 people have actually stayed with the whole video. And Brett, that's super exciting, right? So nearly 1,000 people have stayed there the whole time. The average minutes viewed is actually just 0.3 of a second. So, that's really quite low. But where are they from? Philippines.
So
Yeah, right. Now, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, why? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this is Hope Channel New Zealand. And in New Zealand, there are a lot of Christian Filipino people, and they might have seen it and they might have started going, oh, wow, this is really cool. Because what is it? Strengthening the armor through conversational prayer, fostering a relationship with God is kind of the clunky title. And it's like, okay, so as a title, it covers a range of things, but now let's go down and we'll actually notice something else as we do this. This is the drop-off time. This is the graph on the right-hand side there. So we'll notice something, but notice here that people drop off around the 20-second mark is when they start to drop, but there's still a sizable group who stay there till the end. Okay. So
Can I just make an observation, Neil?
yeah, go for it, Brett.
I
please.
reckon part of the reason some of them are only a few seconds could be Facebook autoplay. You know how it can autoplay videos as you scroll through?
Yeah.
Some of those may have just well been because, yeah, someone was scrolling and the video started playing and they just ignored it.
Yeah, that could be it as well, but it's still appearing in their feed, right? So there's something about this that's gone viral. Now, let's go over back here, and I want us to ask ourselves some questions. So here is the video, and hopefully we can get the audio. I'm thinking it will work through this. I need to mute this, I think.
The video itself is muted in the corner as well.
Don't know whether this is going to work out. No.
Neil, can you deliberately
A
mute?
relationship with someone by holding a conversation. All good conversations require.
Neil, stop sharing and then reshare it. I think you got to optimize it for video and sound. So when you click screen share again,
Yeah.
you'll get a window up showing the page. Like you select a page that you want to share, and then right down the bottom bar
Yeah,
you'll see.
thank you.
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll try that again. Okay. Oh, it's still not working. It might actually be
By holding
easier.
a conversation require give and take, talking and listening. Prayer is no different. Paul concludes his passage on the armour of God with a focus on how do you foster a relationship with someone? By holding a conversation. All good conversations require give and take, talking and listening.
Here's some things I want you to notice as we go through the video. So the first 3 seconds gets us to there. Now, in any video that's online as a short reel, this first 3 seconds is going to really matter. So all they're seeing is the introduction clip. They haven't even got the hook yet. Normally what happens is you need to get your hook loaded, which means the hook simply is, what's the point of interest? Why should I invest time in this video? So clearly the hook here is seeing a picture of Jesus on a boat in the middle of a storm with this bright cloud at the end. The visual image is the hook in this case. That's generating interest. People are seeing this for the first time and they go, this is an intriguing figure. I wonder what this is about. But it takes 9 seconds until Brett's actually appearing in the video. What do you think about that?
Delayed. Would you rather like have a hook immediately than like the intro?
Well, I guess this becomes a design question, right? In terms of what is it? How do we go about doing this? But I think one of the things that is definitely needed is we need to look at, well, what do others do in this space, right? How do they actually go about engaging people to make sure that they capture people's hearts and minds immediately from the get-go? And that's what we're aiming for here. We're aiming for something that's going to capture people's attention the moment they see that appear in their feed. Now, there's elements to this clearly that's actually working. And so, but there's a lot to learn still. Okay, so that's my point. There's a lot to learn here so that we can maximize those kind of moments. Would you agree? And yet there's something about this, there's something about the content, there's something about the nature of the way this is put together that's capturing the hearts of people, and it's resonating with them so much that they're sharing it. And if we actually look at this now, we'll scroll down here and we can say that there's 2,000 comments now, 858 shares, and 79,000 people have actually liked this and engaged with the post. So there's something about this post that's actually going seriously viral, and people are going, wow. Now, if we go down a little bit further, and these are their latest videos, you can see that this is very unusual. Finishing the race, that's got 3,000 views. This one here's got 53, but it does take time for things to kick off, right? But this, so that's 6 days ago, 53, 5 days ago, 85,000. Massive difference. And, you know, we look at a few more and we actually see, wow. So normally, and if we go down on their page, you can see that normally 48 weeks ago, maybe 1,000 views, if we're generous and so on, in terms of what would normally be on Hope Channel. So what we're noticing here, there's something about this video, and what you should all be doing is asking yourself the curious questions. Why this video? Why does this one, out of all the others, seem to go viral? Is it, did someone notice something about it? Is the title of the video? Is it the content of the video? Is it the picture of Jesus on the boat in the video? Or is it all of those things together? How would you be able to know?
Did someone bump it or something?
Did someone bump it? I don't know. You mean, is it paid content?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe these guys actually are doing paid content. I think these are just organically grown. So there is something about this video which is standing out, and it is really worthy of closer inspection. Calmness in the storm. Maybe there's your clue, right? That, wow, are you facing a storm in your life? Do you need to have peace in your heart? Is this world a troubled place? That's a thing that's going to resonate with people. That's maybe definitely a thing. Yeah, go for it, Narelle.
If it's something to do with the fact that there is a huge movement for prayer happening at this time, and it's just picking up on that.
Could be as well, because clearly these are around short devotionals leading into prayer. So it's could be tapping into that. But then, Narelle, that means for someone like yourself, what if you started doing daily prayers with people and started going live streaming that? And it's just like, all right, here we go. Later on tonight, we're going to be going live streaming with Narelle. I think we actually just lost her entirely. But, you know, you could do that, and you could really start to build an online audience through these kind of things. So we're noticing theme, we're noticing image, we're noticing title, and then there's, you know, 1,000 people are staying with you all the way through to the end. Well, actually, maybe 2,000 plus. And it's like, wow, there's something then about the content of this one and how that's different to others. It's pretty cool. It's very exciting.
Well, mine's up as well now. Oh my gosh.
On Hope Channel.
Yeah. I think we finished Brett's series. We did 12 and now my 12's up. Oh no, I might be next.
All right. Well, here we go. Now, there are things that we can do to help bump that. Okay. So what we want to do, we want to, as we go through today, we want to look at that. Okay. So here we go. Here's my next question for you if you just want to use your technology to have a look. And Josh, if you could share me your links for those, I'll make sure we share that with the club, and we'll talk about what we can do to help promote those. So here's the question: why do you think this video did so well? So just give me your opinion to that. Why do you think it did so well? And this is where you, sorry? Yep, it's the same link. Same link as before. But I'm just really interested. Why do you think it did so well? Thanks, Carl, for sending that through. That's really cool. All right, I will be sure to share that with the group.
Neil.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go for it. If you've got a question, just ask away. It's all good.
I was going to ask, can we get, are we allowed to have access to, like, probably not, but more of the stats?
I have asked, and I will keep on asking to get updated stats of all of those, maybe, so we can start analyzing, because I think that's where we're going to do a lot of learning, is when we look at what works with people and what doesn't work with people, and we start asking ourselves the question, why? So those stats are absolutely the goal that we need to start mining here, for sure. So I've asked Ollie in New Zealand yesterday, that's how I got those stats that we're sharing today. And Mo was posted and say peak time like 7. Okay, they're good observations, right? And how do we know the answer to those? High shared volume in specific groups. Okay, the idea of refuge security through prayer. Was short and straight to the point. So there's a whole range of things there that might be contributing factors why these particular clips went viral, or this particular one went viral. How are we going to know the answer to that? We're going to have to start exploring. We're going to have to get really curious. And this is why you just don't do one post and think, oh yeah, that's it, I've done it, didn't work, and I'm toast. It's like, no, what are the things that you can do to not just post online, but then actually post in such a way to generate? Who can you collaborate with so that they can immediately like and watch your video, and so on? And there's a whole list of things that we can do to actually really help that become a reality, right? So maybe it's short and straight to the point, shared into already religious interest groups, but it's somehow rather those groups actually started liking it and sharing it as well. And those, 1,000 shares have actually had an impact. So let's go on though. Here's some things to think about. There's no such thing as great content without a great hook. And a hook is simply something that arouses the interest of people. It answers the question, so what? Why should I get involved in this? Why should I invest 5 minutes of my time, 30 seconds of my time, a minute of my time in watching Davison as he does his thing, right? Whatever it is. Well, there's got to be a reason. So what's your reason of why? So you're selling the reason right up front. Hey, stay with me today because I'm going to be teaching you 3 things that are going to transform your experience of prayer with God. Be sure to stay to the end, because at the end of this clip, I'm going to be teaching you the one thing that you'll want to make sure you include in every prayer you pray.
Sometimes they can turn people off as well.
It might,
Yeah.
but actually those things tend to work more than they don't.
Yeah.
But then there's others. It's just like, wow, have you ever wondered whether God's listening to your prayer? There's a hook.
Yeah. Another regular one that's been used is like, whoa, don't scroll. One of those.
Yeah.
That's caught me a few times. And I'm like,
Yeah. Okay, so now you're starting to notice what do other people use to slow people down. Okay. And what you want to do is you don't want to cheat people into staying with you, because that will just generate a lot of bad reviews. You want to be really honest and open. Hey, have you ever wondered whether God really exists? Hang around. I'll give you 3 compelling reasons why God exists, or why I think God exists. There's an opening and a hook, and it's going to be generous. Those who stay are going to be curious about what I have to say. Does that give you an idea of the kinds of things? Why does something win with views? What was it that got people hooked? That's the question. You need to be a real scientist when it comes to this kind of thinking. So there's the hook, then there's the intro, then there's the problem, then there's the solution, and you're wrapping up. And all of this, if it's a short video, is done in 1 minute, which means you can't have any dead space. And I think one of the reasons, Brett, for yours not going beyond that 3 seconds is it takes fully 9 seconds to get to or watch the content of your video about, and people aren't staying that long.
Yeah, I have
So
noticed most
I reckon-
reels people jump straight into it, which is interesting.
Yeah. So what if that could be redone in a different way, so that the image of Jesus there was actually just the first frame or 2, And then or as it's showing that video of Jesus instead of the music in the background, your voice is already cutting through that. So there's a whole bunch of things that could be done with that to start exploring how to do that better. Does that make sense? Go, Broden.
Neil, I was just going to say something that I got told by one of my lecturers from another institution was a good thing in this area, like how to hook people, how to get people caught in that, is watch different advertisements. Take the time to sit down and just take note of, like, write down common things that they all have, like, because most advertisements are under 10 seconds, they're like 6 seconds, and exactly like what you were saying, there's not a second wasted.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you just see it in like the creativity. Just the other day I saw one of the buses go past and it had a Specsavers ad across the side of the bus, but it was upside down. And there was a guy standing there and he's like, oh, look what they've done. They've put it upside down. And he goes, why would they do that? And I said, well, you just proved like they're thinking behind it. You noticed it. You noticed the branding.
Yeah. There we go.
But yeah, so, I don't know. I just got told to do that as an exercise, and it's quite interesting what you'll pick up, and you can use those same principles to apply to our videos, online content.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, Broden. And I think we can. There's so many things that are transferable that if we start seeing things with new eyes, we can notice what tools they use to capture the attention and hearts of people. And we want to do this for the best reason possible. We want to do this so that we can actually start leading people to Christ is the goal here. So
Neil,
yeah.
the other thing that people use is thumbnails. Like that's what attracts some people. So they're short that we're looking at is like a thumbnail. So when people are scrolling through, that's the first thing that captures the person's attention in order for them to actually, it's like a clickbait. So maybe that one that went viral maybe had a different thumbnail where the other ones were just faces of people talking, but the one that went viral, the thumbnail was like the cinematic view of Christ, of the picture, and that probably draw people more to clicking it than the rest. So thumbnail.
Yeah. Definitely a possibility in that.
Neil?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, just a response to that. When it comes to Reels, if that's what we're talking about today, you're not going to be necessarily seeing a thumbnail unless you are scrolling through Instagram looking for a reel to click on. Like at the For You page type of thing where you go searching for new stuff. If it's just being fed into your feed, you're not going to have time to be looking at a thumbnail before it starts playing. It's just going to play from the first 3 seconds. That's what you'll notice. So thumbnails are more important on YouTube than they are on short reels like TikTok, Instagram, those types of places.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. You're absolutely right. Because if you think of it, like these videos the stats that we're looking at, Lindsay, were stats from Facebook. So clearly there's something there about what's going on and how that works. Let me show you this. This is Colby Meyer, Adventist pastor in Oregon. And this is a short little thing. So I want you to notice what he does here.
Doesn't matter what you've said, it doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter who you've been. The Bible says that as far as the east is from the west, so far hath he removed our transgressions from us. Your past doesn't define who you are. Your history doesn't define your future and your destiny. That God will not only not give up on you, but that he will take the things that the enemy meant to harm you, to hinder you, to keep you from moving forward in faith, and he will take those things and turn them for your good and for his glory. God is for you. It's time that you start acting like it.
So there we go. Really, that's a great little video clip. Now let me show you another one, what that's like. And notice the hooks that he's got here. Is that the same one? Oh, sorry. This is sorry. This is a more subtle one. Did you notice that one?
It's the wait for it, isn't it?
Here's points.
Super.
But and the moment you see the wait for it, like as a viewer, there's anticipation there that you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so subtly done how it is. So it doesn't feel like an advertisement. It's just like, well, wait for it. Well, what are we waiting for? So it's an invitation to do something. And I just want you to notice the subtlety of these different ones. So these are ones that are getting around 5,000 views, right? So that's the actual number of views. So these are reasonably high. Here's another one. So it just keeps going like that for a very long time, just keeps zooming in and zooming in and zooming in. So how does this hook work? It's just a curiosity thing. It's like, oh, it's mesmerizing in a sense. But this one actually doesn't do a whole lot other than God's hand is in everything. So it's kind of like a metaphor. So let's move on. And here's one. This has got 219,000 likes. And we'll just see what this one's like. And watch the hook that's here.
A preacher was standing in a busy university courtyard warning students about the consequences of sin and rebellion against God. While sharing his faith with a crowd of intent listeners, he was interrupted by a Christian student who went out of his way to explain, "I want everyone to know that not all Christians are like this judgmental preacher here. God is love." Just then, an atheist from among the crowd of listeners spoke up. In front of everyone, the atheist told the student, "I've seen you here every day on campus, and not once have you ever shared with me about the consequences of sin. I can only conclude one of two things. Either you don't really love me, or you don't really believe what you say you believe." The Bible says that God is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. One of the most loving things you can do for an unbeliever is lovingly warn them of their wicked ways.
Okay, now we won't go into...
A preacher was standing...
Sorry, we won't go into the theology of that, but it's really interesting, right? It's really interesting how they go about setting up and telling a story as they go through and then illustrating that story. Here's another one. And this is Colby Meyer, and this is really illustrating. So let me just take this back for a second, because I think this illustrates the power of what we're talking about.
I don't want to ruin your video, but I saw you on Instagram. Oh, you did? Yeah. I always watch your videos. Dennis. Dennis? Yeah. Nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. You motivated me. Huh? You got me into Christ. What did Jesus do for you, brother? Everything. He got me away from addiction. Everything. He made my life even better than it was. Come on. I was at the lowest point, and now I wake up, and I'm happy to just wake up. Thank God every day. Praise God, man. So you got a new life. I don't want to ruin your video.
Oh. What I wanted to do there is...
Also, Neil, the use of captions.
Yeah, but I was going to comment on that, Neil. Go for it.
Yeah, the use of captions on the shorts to guide the viewer. I think all the shorts use captions. So that's one thing I picked up.
Yeah. They really do. But notice where the caption is. Colby's got the caption right over the guy's face. Why do you think he does that?
I think he might for it to go up his face.
I think because it keeps your attention on the guy's face. Because that's where you want to look. That's where, I'm looking at this thinking, where do I want to look? I want to look at the guy, but the audio is really hard to hear. And so he's putting the visual words right where I want to look. which is right on his face. And I think that actually works for me.
No, I'm okay. I hear what you're saying, but is it just now? Maybe I didn't hear it correctly, but it wasn't like the caption was like, "You won't believe what he says." I mean, it wasn't that sensational like what the guy said. Isn't that it's kind of a bit deceptive?
Clickbait.
It's clickbait, really. Like, you won't believe what the guy said. It's like, okay, I mean.
Well, this is a chance encounter walking in a march, and a guy comes up to him and says, "Do I, you don't know me, but I know you." And Colby's like, so that's a start of this. And so you won't believe what he says. Well, what is it that he's saying? He's saying that I'm a follower of you online. I'm one of your crowds of people who follow you.
Yeah.
And Colby's like, well, how random is this? So Colby, when he does things like a march or something like this, he's got a person there with a camera capturing that moment, because he never knows when a story is going to be there. And suddenly this guy comes up and says, "Oh, by the way, I know you, you're Colby Meyer." And he's like, "Oh, well, how do you know that?" So yeah, there's a bit of a story to this one, but I wanted to show you this one. Yeah, there's a hook there. It's maybe it sounds like clickbait, but it's not quite that. But it certainly shows you the power of digital ministry, that the reach goes beyond online to actually encounters with people in your local community. And I think that's an important thing for us to keep in mind here as we go. Okay, so here's the key learning from this. Follow good content creators, study what they do, copy from their techniques, adapt to suit your videos, repeat and repeat and repeat, and keep learning. The algorithms that YouTube use, that Instagram use, that Facebook use, that TikTok use, in terms of what's going to end up in the feed, changes regularly. So there's no point going, "Oh yeah, we've got a search engine optimize our hashtags." Well, no, that really doesn't work. So what is working? Well, what's working is the way in which people authentically engage in your content, the way your content actually will speak to the hearts of people, that kind of stuff. And then there's a whole bunch of things that can be done around that will actually help your content actually capture and grab attention. So here's the key things that actually go into making a hook. Okay. So it's got to grab attention. It's got to cut through. People have very short attention spans. So you've only got a very short period of time, which is why it feels a bit like clickbait, I guess. What makes a good hook? Something that encourages engagement, that will actually get people thinking, "Oh, wow, I want to invest time here." It sets the tone for what's to come. So I think to avoid clickbait, it needs to have a feel of authenticity, that they know what's coming and it's going to be something that they actually want to hear answers to. It's something that will increase retention, right? That encourages viewers to actually stay there for the whole 60 seconds, or if it's a long form video, it's like, make sure you stay here to the very end, because at the very end, I've got something really important that will wrap all of this up, or that you really need to understand. Okay, so if you're doing a sermon, you could even do that with your sermon. Is at the end, I will actually bring out something here that will be really important for you to understand. And then something that will enhance shareability. So you'll notice that oftentimes people will finish not so much their TikTok reels or their Instagram reels or Facebook, but at the end of others, I'll say, "Oh, please like, please subscribe, or please share," because they're the ways in which the algorithms are also geared to say, "Oh, well, this content's being shared, this content's being liked." And because of that, it's like, "Oh, wow, this must be good stuff. People actually like this." Which then brings us back to the content that Brett has created and Josh has created. And the very thing we could do for them right now is, when I share the link, the first thing you can do is you can watch the whole video through. So the very first thing that Brett should do for every one of his videos is he should watch it all the way through. He should then share that video with others. And he should ask them to watch it all the way through and make a comment. And if that happens for each one of the videos, let's see if we can make another one of these videos go viral. We simply could, right? Because if we all jumped on and went, "Oh, wow, this is a nice video. Let's like it, let's share it, let's comment on it, and let's go to our friends and say, hey, make sure you like and share this too. And in no time at all, we're making virals about Jesus, videos about Jesus go viral. Okay, does that make sense? Because that's kind of how algorithms work. They look at, oh, wow, this friend shared with this friend liked it too, this one's grabbed it, and then that one's grabbed it, and then, you know, it's a numbers game after that.
Excuse me now, just quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
I did a YouTube course a little while back with Think Media. They're the guys that Justin Coe learnt from too.
Okay, great.
And one thing that guy was saying, because they're actually a Christian group, and all those things that you just said were important, but he said the biggest thing, the place where the algorithm doesn't tend to change as much, is consistency with uploads.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've noticed if you go to all the big channels that have like a few million subscribers and things like that. So, for instance, there's one that I watch with my boys, with my family. They're actually a Mormon family, and they're called Outdoor Boys. And they go all around the world and go fishing and do survival stuff, and they're really good. And he uploads a new video every Saturday morning. Like, guaranteed, every Saturday morning there'll be a new video up, and his channel's just exploding. And yeah, I just remember him saying, so when I was uploading every week myself, like, I wasn't getting heaps of people watching it, but I actually watched the algorithm pick up 2 of my videos, and within like 15 minutes they went from 50 views to 2.1 thousand views.
Yeah.
You could see
Okay.
that picking it up, but I stopped doing it every week because it's a bit of work. But yeah, so I think that's at the foundation of your videos going viral too, is you know, that continual upload consistency.
Yeah, thanks. It really is. You're right. And thanks for sharing that. So I think, and it gets to the heart of the issue here is the discipline needed to create. And there really is a discipline to that. Colby has committed to every day doing that. And it's actually making a huge impact. You know, his online reach, his most popular videos are 2 million views. And that's just like really crazy kind of statistics. So here's a process, right? That David Adamson shared at the Digital Discipleship Conference recently. And I want you just to notice, now, it's not really easy to see because it's a photo of a screen. And I was looking at, well, how do I do something with it? So he says, prepare your video, change the name of your video before you upload it to something that's keyword optimized. So that the name of your video is already being primed. Upload it to YouTube or your other social media channels. Make the video live to the channel. And as you do, start watching it immediately. So, and by that, he means just have it play on a screen. Turn the sound down if you like, but have it play all the way through. So there's one view all the way through. Then like it and share it. And then get someone else to jump on there as part of your team to like it, to watch it all the way through, to share it. And so now you've got 2 views all the way through, and then you've got 2 people liking it. And if it's only a short video of 1 minute or 5 minutes or something like that, it's not that big a deal to watch all the way to the end. But then what you want to do is you want to encourage more people to do the same. And if you have a bit of a team, or if your church members are trained to think the same way, then you can actually help push content from being something that's small and local and it's just you and a couple of mates to you now and a much broader audience. Does that make sense? And then it goes to what Broden said before. If we're doing something consistently and people are like it and sharing and doing those things consistently, you'll start to have breakthroughs. Here's someone who at the start of the pandemic actually started getting a lot of breakthrough by doing a live event. Do you know who I'm thinking of? Yes. A certain singer by the name of Intimate.
Oh,
Yeah. So she just started doing these live worships because she couldn't go anywhere and sing in a church somewhere. She just thought, oh, well, I'll just do it at home. So she started that online and they just became a viral sensation. and she would record those as well. And that's where they sat. And just her and, a couple of other family members, and they started doing all of those. And it's just interesting. The consistency of that led to quite a large global audience of people who wanted more of that. And consistency is a really important part of this whole thing. So, what I want you to do, okay, is I will stop sharing there. And I think, are there any questions around what we've been talking around today, by the way? So today, and what, if I was to summarize today, what are we saying? We're saying with Carla, who's actually gone the whole way through, and I'll have mine ready for next week, in creating videos that we want to try. What I want you to do, I want you to think about what hook can you have with a video like that? How can you get AI to help you generate a script? And I don't mean that it's the AI script, I mean help you generate, which is different. So it writes a script, you then work with that and it's yours, you own it, as in it's your voice that speaks. And then you can have a go at recording. So to do digital ministry means this is the kind of thing that needs to be integrated into your workflow as a minister, as a pastor in a local church. You can build a team of people around you who can help contribute this kind of content moving forward. In your placement, you might have a couple of members of a youth group. You can actually tap on the shoulder and say, hey, can you help me create content that every day we can have? Which means, doesn't mean you create it every day, because you can schedule your posts to go at certain times. So you could have just one day a week where you create 5 videos or 7 videos if you're doing it every day. And then you schedule them for the rest of the week. And so you got the rest of the week just to do your thing. But when each one goes live, you need to get your friends liking, sharing, and doing all of those things so that it becomes noticed by the algorithms.
If you take a break, though, what happens? If you take a break, like from this.
All right, so I'm going to go to Broden, who's done the course. Broden, if you take a break, what happens? Oh, we've lost you.
Sorry. From memory, if you do it like here and there by accident, it doesn't do anything. Or like I don't think it really affects heaps, but I just know some of the other guys, like they've done consistently a video upload every week for a whole year, and algorithm doesn't seem to pick them up a whole that much. And then they'll go another few months into the second year, and then the channels just explode. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It takes a while to get breakthrough. I think that's the summary of what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think if you miss it here and there, so like weekly uploads for shorts and that I think are probably more important. But I know for a YouTube channel, like they just encourage you to do it 1 video a week. And exactly what you just said, Neil, about recording a whole heap in a day and then maybe using a second day to edit them and then scheduling them for each week for that month. That's sort of what they encourage you to do too.
Yeah.
But to do them good and to do them with good quality, it's a lot of time. Yeah. But I tell you one thing, that if people want to run social, this is what I want to do in the church. If social media is, see, a lot of churches post on Facebook and post on Instagram, right? I think the good thing to do is put your sermons on YouTube every week. And then what you do is you look for little points within the sermon that are really good. You know how like the speaker will say something that's just a real powerful moment, and then you take that and you make that a short.
That's right.
And then you put those on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and then you put like a link in the bio and things, and you're like, hey, if you want to check out this full message, visit our YouTube channel. But yeah, that's another good option. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I like that, Broden, and I think that's definitely part of a workflow that every pastor should actually have and consider, is that if I have these as part of the workflow, these are the things that I can do.
Should we be trying to really study say I'm a pastor of this area, one particular area, should we be trying to reach our digital community in this area instead of going to like the world first? But if our area is interested in this thing, I don't know.
So we'll come to that. I guess in terms of, content as we move forward, at the moment, we're just trying to build up the skills to write a script and to get tight on writing script. Then we need to focus on, well, how do we do the whole, and this is the comment that Broden and Neil, who's online, they're really good at this video editing. So we need to talk about, well, how do we video the whole story together? And now we've got script and we've got videos that are kind of going to be quite cool, right? So now we need to actually say with that, and we could write that script for any topic, right? Because you're understanding the principles that are needed. Then we need to actually say, well, okay, who are you trying to reach? Who's your target? Is it the people in your immediate area? And maybe it is. So for me, last year at Foresters Beach Church where I was, it was like, well, I want to reach people on the Central Coast and want to take the Sabbath message to them, right? So that in their busy life, the stress-filled life that they have, that they can unplug from that hurried pace and start and enjoy the benefits and blessing that Sabbath can bring. That was the plan that we were working on as a church. Instead, I'm now here, but it's still a great plan that needs to be followed through with, right?
Yeah.
So you can definitely do those kinds of things in a local community. It's called building a tribe. Okay, so you definitely want to build a tribe, but your tribe won't be just limited to your local community. It might be who you try and target, but it's actually the world's stress. The world needs to unplug and learn to do Sabbath. So we can actually, why just stop at just reaching one small group when you can reach such a larger group? And this is the advantage of this. And by doing digital ministry, you can be doing ministry while you sleep. You can be making disciples while you sleep. You can make disciples while you're on holidays, because your things are doing work while you're away. And I think that's the advantage of this, and you can be reaching such a much larger audience. Who would have thought that Brett could reach 2,000 people with a prayer? That's the largest church that Brett's ever prayed for. And I'm just so stoked that he gets to do that, right? But imagine if he gets to do that every day and has a growing audience. And some people, all they do is have live prayer sessions on YouTube. Hey guys, I'm going live with prayer. If you've got any prayer requests, just submit them. We're going to go live with prayer. Maybe I'm going to have a devotional and I'm going to take my devotional live. So you can talk about trying to master the art of doing something, but sometimes just deciding, well, I'm going to go live and start doing something live with people and answer their questions as they go is as good as any way to approach. So there's no right or wrong here, but absolutely going back to Broden's point before, consistency is key. Creating a consistent product, delivering that consistently over time is going to get you far more interests from people and from algorithms. All right. Have we had a good session today?
Yeah.
All right. What's your homework?
Last week's homework. Still on last week's homework.
Still on last week's? Well, in terms of last week's, I want you to really start thinking in terms of the script that you can generate. And I love the fact, Carla, I'm going to share your link with others so that they can actually have a look at what you created. And I just love you for having a go. And I will get mine and share that as well. Okay, as soon as I can get mine sorted. So here we go. And remember, the broader goal is over the next 2 years for some of you, 4 years for others, of while we study, to grow our audience so that we might have an online audience of 10,000 plus people by the time we graduate. How cool would that be? And then you go into ministry knowing not only how to create that audience, but then you can teach your church to do the same thing. That is super exciting. And that's what I want to have you learn those skills so that you can do. And if we learn how to do that and learn how to teach our churches, then as Neil and I were chatting before we started here today, it's like, wow, we might start to have some online leaders in our Adventist church here in Australia and New Zealand who can actually really start to reach the world for Christ in our big cities. Neil, do you want to say anything as we wrap up, or maybe you want to lead us in prayer as well?
To say all the best to everyone. It's not easy creating content online. You know, it's a constant thing, it's a struggle. And it's a full-time thing as well. And we all got jobs, lives, school, families. So it's not easy, but keep pushing through. And I know that whatever happens, if God's leading, then he'll make a way. But it's a big need for our church, though. I think Australia's so behind of this is not funny. So I'm hoping that everyone else that sees us can jump on board and really support all of us as content creators. So yeah, that's all I want to say. But keep going. It's a struggle, but just keep pushing through. All right, I'll say prayer to close off, Neil. Is that okay?
Yeah, thanks, bro.
All right, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your love, your mercy, and your amazing grace. Thank you for this time together as a family to grow your kingdom through this avenue of media. I know our forefathers, they used whatever was at their hands at that time to spread your word. And at this time, we have social media and online that we can reach the ends of the earth with this. So Lord, I just pray that may you bless us of your spirit, bless us of how to be influencers online and create content for your glory. Bless us all, forgive us. We ask this in your heavenly name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, everyone, for joining. If you want to stay around and just chat, you're very welcome to. Otherwise, we'll talk again soon.
Thanks very much. See you later.